So let's start on plot 5B. One of the jobs we have not got round to yet is harvesting all our chilies, which have been amazing this year. So we need to harvest those. We'll make them into various sauces and condiments that we will preserve and save, and some of them we will also freeze. And then I'm going to attempt to overwinter some of those really good plants that we've got. If we look at the main plot on 5B, there's not that much stuff that's actually left in. We've got a few things in the cold frames, mainly some strawberries, where we cleared one of the strawberry beds, so that's to repopulate that bed, and then just a few other little flowers and things. Looking at the main beds, over the last couple of days we spent most of the time trying to move a massive manure delivery, which is now stored mainly at the back there, you can see covered in the top, but we have put some of the manure out on a couple of the beds. In terms of crops, we've got parsnips in. They do say that parsnips are better eaten after you've had a frost. However, I made a decision this year that we're going to start eating them much earlier than that, because we leave them to after the frost, and then we know we don't eat them quick enough, and we just end up with loads in the spring that I need to dig up. So we've actually eaten a few of those already, and you know what? They were really sweet and nice, and they were fine like that. So I definitely will probably start eating parsnips earlier. Most of the beans have been harvested. There's some runner beans here that still need to be harvested, and the other tail that's left in are the butter beans. But the rest of these bean structures have been emptied, so they just need to be taken down and the bed's just tidied a little. Other than that, in terms of crops, there's a few kohlrabi there, which I have now uncovered because I figured the pigeons may well eat the tops of those, but if they do, I'm not eating that bit anyway, so I'm not really bothered. And the roots will still be there, so I took the cover off those. We've got the 2 beds of leeks still in, and I know quite a few weeks ago I said I was going to clear these out because I think they've been infected with leek moth despite being covered with the enviromesh. But you know what? Some of them are not that bad, those ones. So actually, if I have a good weed in there, maybe they'll be all right as baby leeks. And these ones, you know, I think some of them have, they've gone to seed, so I'll just have to see. We just haven't got around to that yet. We've still got some Swedes in, which we'll eat over winter. And this purple sprouting broccoli is going crazy now. It's quite big. It really needs a bigger structure over the top. But until we start moving other structures to give us more netting and more support, I haven't really got anything to put on it. So once I've cleared out, maybe though, I might clear out that leek bed, I'll have some more of the netting so I can make a bigger structure over there. And then we've got some of our fruit trees that are now starting to drop their leaves. The herb beds that herb pots underneath that I've cut back. We've had a good go at our multi-grafted apple tree, and we put some supports in on all the new grafts, which are looking great. There is a further video on the blog that's just about that. So we will quite soon have an extra prune of that and do some tip pruning, taking about 1/3 out of the new growth from this year. But overall, that's been a really good success. We've still not cleared this strawberry bed out. When I say strawberries, it's actually a mixture of strawberries and a load of weeds. There's loads of creeping buttercup in here. So I'm going to clear this whole bed out, make it a little bit smaller, so there's more of a bigger path here, and I'm going to move my sun lounger to that section, I think. So that is plot 5B. The last bit we've got on here is the sweet potatoes that are in here that are still looking pretty good. Just starting to rain now. You are meant to harvest them, I have not grown them before, but from what I've read, after the first frost or quite late, so fingers crossed we'll actually get something. I'm not too hopeful for them because I don't think I've watered them enough, but you never know, and we will learn for next year and get some sort of watering system set up in there. So if we take a look at plot 4, and as you can see, probably the sun is just starting to poke through, and there's a great rainbow over there. It's been chucking it down really bad actually earlier on today, but we had a little bit of a break, and that's when we popped down to the plot. So on plot 4, again, there are some crops that are still in, and there are some things that we probably won't deal with until the first frost knock them back. We have got, these are meant to be autumn cauliflowers in here, but they've not yet set heads. You know, well, I say never, but rarely have we been that successful with cauliflowers, but they're looking all right, you know. There's one that went to seed there, so I need to take that one out. But I do think some of the others will set some sort of fruit, I guess. We'll see. So that was just a bit of an experiment to have stuff in when we, like, as a second crop. The garlic is looking brilliant. That garlic I planted at the end of September, so it's planted quite early really for garlic. Looks really good. I've got another bed of garlic that is only just starting to poke through. We did a couple of weeks ago. And then the carrots are still in there. We'll probably continue to harvest them over winter, so they will stay in. The cosmos is finally starting to die down, so I do need to take all that out, and then I will, maybe if I've got time, if I get it done quick enough, put a few dwarf tulips within that rockery as well. It does have a lot of spring plants in it, the spring like rockery plants, but I just thought some tulips would look extra nice. So if we get this done quick enough and I can get the tulips in, I'm going to do that. There's a couple of extra kohlrabi under here, maybe one left, so I do need to clear that bit out. And we've got the celeriac here. Wonder if we actually got any celeriac. We got some alright ones last year. I think they are a couple. There's one there. Again, not that great. Maybe I just need to give them like a lot more room. I'll look into that. I'll keep trying because I do want to be able to grow them. The lavender has been pruned back after it flowered. And then we have got, these are just some of the dwarf sunflowers that need cutting back now they're finished. And this final bed is beetroot. So we cleared one of the beetroots beds out, which was on 5B, and we still haven't had time to do this. These can stay in really over winter if you know, unless we get a heavy frost. So I'm probably not too worried about dealing with it. We've got about over 20 500ml jars of pickled beetroot already completed. So I'll probably make something more meals type things with this. I don't really want to be picking too much more. And the pond is still looking nice. Surprising how that little fountain really gets going, even though in the tiniest bit of sun. I don't know if you saw, there was a little goldfish in there that popped its head up. So that's looking pretty good actually, happy with that. The giant sunflowers, again, we need to cut these down. We are thinking about investing in some sort of garden shredder that we should be able to use here. So they would be something that would be really good to go through the shredder. We've got the Jerusalem artichokes. Again, they've sort of died back now. So there will be a crop of them in there. Probably not loads, but surprisingly enough for a good few meals, which for us is absolutely plenty. And we did previously have them in a patch on 5B, and they're seriously invasive and difficult to get rid of. So this is the best way for us to grow them. We get a little bit of a crop, so we can get just a taste of them and not be overwhelmed with how many we get. We've had a really good crop of raspberries. These are just about coming to the end, but there are still a few on here. Haven't managed to pick these this week yet because we've been a bit busy with all the manure, so I might pop down if we have chance after work one day this week and get them. If not, they'll probably have all gone mouldy or dropped off by next weekend, and I might need to just accept that loss. There's quite a few there actually. I hate seeing things go to waste, but I don't think I'm going to have time to deal with them. We're nearly at the cutting back time for the asparagus. As you can see, it's just starting to go yellow. There's some carrots there. The cover has now blown off. I'll probably take that off. It doesn't really matter now. We're not going to get issues with carrot fly at this time of year now. One thing that has done amazing, which is good if you want to grow it, but we're not actually that much of a fan of it, is this chard, rainbow chard. It's gone on all summer. Still looks really strong, and apparently it's pretty frost hardy. To be honest, we have not been eating much with this. I've been feeding it to the chickens because we're not that keen on it ourselves. But the leaves are not bad, so I might make some barges or something like that with, and they're quite nice like that. We've still still got some cabbages left in. So these are summer cabbages. So they are going to have to come out pretty quickly. I'll probably before the frost, the decent frost, but there are some good ones in there, some nice red ones. You can see there. There we go. We've got a few more bean frames that I still need to see those ones there that are still on. They are the butter beans. So this is just the runner beans and the butter beans now left to harvest. The bologna beans I did pick today, and those again just need taking down and the beans composting and the canes put somewhere for winter. We've definitely got Brussels for Christmas Day. There we go. So that's done okay, despite me saying many times on these videos that I was going to tie them up and I never did. But we've definitely got enough for what we want in there, so I'm quite pleased with that. There's some of the spring planted kale here that's still going crazy. I might take that one out, gives the rest of the chickens from that, because it's just the top leaves that are left. And we've got that winter, well, autumn planted one to stand over winter over there under that net, which will be a lot nicer to eat, I should think. So some of the beds in here are empty. That's where we've taken the squash out, and we're trialing using some field beans for green manure as well. So that's what they look like. They look all right. Because we are no dig, I'm not going to dig them in. What I'm planning to do is to chop them down and just use them as compost. So I'll put them in to try and reduce the weeds sprouting on the top. I'm not sure it does that much for us because we don't have that many weeds. So if you look at here, we're only getting the odd one. In fact, the only one that's poked up there is look, that might even be a little one of those beans that I've dropped there, or a mouse perhaps has moved there. I've not really got weeds in it, so there's not really any more weeds on this bit, I would say, than that. But it's extra green composting material, which is quite good at this time of year, because we do have a lot of browns. I guess it depends how you look at it. This was Calabrese originally, and with a few cabbages in there, and I have planted some winter cabbages. So if I can see if we can see through here. Hard to see. There we go. They're looking pretty decent in there. So that whole section there has got winter cabbages in, and on the ends here there are a few of the Filderkraut, sort of German pickling cabbage. I harvested the biggest one and have tried to make some sauerkraut from it. So I've never eaten sauerkraut before, so I don't know whether we actually even like it, but I've done that, and there are a couple more of those in there. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them yet. They probably would need harvesting before any bad frosts. All the crops we've still got in is there's still bits and bobs of carrots in here that will need harvesting. They could be left in for the winter, but we really need to tackle clearing this area, because we know that we have got some ground elder that's growing, certainly where that pallet bin is. It's there, and it's sort of spread a little bit into this bed as well. So I am going to take these beds out. I'm going to dig it to get that ground elder out, because I don't think there's any other way we can deal with it. So we're going to remove that bed. Certainly it would just be a low level bed rather than a raised bed after then anyway. So those carrots will come out when we're doing that. A few more of the field beans. Parsley, which is still doing immense. That's a great crop for overwinter to get a few greens, you know, to use in your cooking or salads. And then the kale that we pointed out there is looking really good as well. That should stand and can eat that all winter. And then this is the bed that I put in really late garlic only a couple of weeks ago, and that is just starting to sprout through. So that's more of the general overwintering garlic, and there is also some elephant garlic in there too. The flower bed needs a really good tidying up, because these cosmos, which look absolutely brilliant when they're upright, have taken a bit of a fallen over. So they're still flowering really nicely actually, but if we go around the front, I have to say it doesn't look as tidy. As you can see now, I did tidy it up a few weeks ago, but now and tie the cosmos up, but they've gone over. So we do need to do something with that, and then I will pull any small weeds out, chop any other bits back, and I've got a few extra bulbs that we didn't use in the garden at home, and I'll probably just stick them in and hope for the best with them. And here's our final plot, which is 2B. To be honest, not much has been going on 2B for a while because it's mainly fruit. We've got our composting area, that's our current usable compost pile. We started collecting loads of leaf mould, and because we're going to build a new leaf mould bin, it's just all in bags here, so that's just stored in there, and that's our current compost, which I'll keep adding to as we just harvest the last few crops. I'm going to also clean the chickens out at home and put that on. So we've still not got round to sorting out the slabbing in the fruit cage, so that probably was ideally going to be an October to November job, so we may get round to it. If we don't, that could easily be a spring job. I will want to go in there because there's a couple of weeds there like that which need sorting out, so I would go in there and pull any weeds out and just tidy it up a little bit, and I might use some of the manure or the compost just to mulch around those beds. But the actual slabbing we could leave till spring if we needed to. We've got the path, there's a lot of weeds in that grass, but we have got it re-going again on level, which is much better and much safer than it was. So Anthony's going to trim that back, and then we will worry about trying to get more grass than weeds in spring. So this bit is just the trees, so nothing much has gone on here. We just raked up a few of the leaves that are dropping. So we will need to prune some of these, probably do them later on when the fig's finished off and dropped its leaves. And then finally on the back here, the polytunnel. So I have tried to grow a few crops in here for overwinter. Those pak choi don't look bad, so they should be good. These are kohlrabi, which again look all right. The winter salads have not really been very successful, but to be honest, it was my own fault because I let them dry out a bit. I didn't water them well enough, and the top layer of the compost dried out when they were quite small. So there's two very sad looking ones left. So I don't think we're going to get any winter salads, but you know what? We can eat those pak choi leaves as winter salads, so I guess we'll just have to do that. And there's a few spring onions there. So not brilliant success, but we've got something. Over here, there are some spinach. You know what? That looks all right for salads. Coriander and parsley growing there. And some radish. And they look okay, actually. These are the overwintering onions, which I need to prick out into separate containers and find somewhere in here for them to grow. And what we'll do then is plant them out in spring. But they look pretty good, actually. I'm really happy with them. So that's a job that will have to be done over the next few weeks. We've got lots of pumpkins left, so I'll probably donate a few of these to friends. I know some people at work are really keen to have some, so I'll take some into work. And then we've just got bits and bobs of cucumbers and tomatoes left. So there are like some tomatoes ripening here. There's still a few cucumbers. Most of them are gone, really, finishing off. That was okay. And there's a big one there, look. That's actually okay. I was saying that. There's another two there. So there's at least 1, 2, 3, 4 cucumbers. I'm not going to pick them now because we've got 4 in the fridge. So we don't actually need any more. And then the main thing we've got here is the beans, the kidney beans. So I need to pick those. So again, that's another job that needs doing over the next 2 to 3 weeks. And once I've got that bed there, we're going to store the potatoes to overwinter in here in the tubs. At the moment they are around the back, which is okay. It looks quite neat, but obviously they're getting constantly rained on here, and the more damp the soil is, the more the slugs love to eat them. So it is better if they can go in there. So once we clear that bed, I'm going to stack them up inside the tunnel. Water collection's doing really well off there, and obviously we've had a good tidy up sweeping the leaves around our new paving area. So that's our 3 plots today. I hope you've enjoyed the tour. If you have, Please like, comment and subscribe. It only takes a minute, but it really helps our channel. Bye.
Bye-bye.